Hello, hello, hello. It is Christian here. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited that you decided to join me. Maybe you've heard about the channel. Maybe you've been watching videos. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. It really will help you to make sure that you never miss when I upload a video, which is every day at 12 noon. If nothing derails me from getting these videos uploaded, you will be getting new content every single day for a limited time. All right. No, but I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy talking to you guys, having dialogue, conversation, and hopefully it is enlightening on your journey to either deconstruct from holiness or religious, I don't know. I don't want to say all religious organizations, but some organized religions, all right? So we're all on a journey here, and whether you're still in it or you are leaving it or you've never been a part of it, but you just like to hear a true perspective, a balanced analysis on a lot of things that you've probably seen or heard, then right here is where you want to be. So go ahead and click on that bell, hit subscribe, and do not miss any of the uploads that I got coming for you guys, all right? Okay, before we get into today's topic, let me go ahead and do our 3 points that lets you know where we're about to go, and so you feel comfortable, okay? Number 1, you are not alone. Number 2, you are not crazy. And 3, God still loves you, all right? There we go. Now let's do this. Generational curses. Christian, do they exist? Christian, do you believe in them? Christian, my family's had one on them for years, for generations. Listen. No, I don't believe in generational curses. I do not. Now, what I will tell you I believe in is right here in my little notes, all right? If you see me looking down, it's because I got the phone right here, handy dandy notes for the people to keep me on track, because I do have a history in communications. I used to be a radio host, my husband and I, back in the day, circa 2013 to the 15. So I can go, all right, I can go. So these notes help me to keep everything intact and move along very quickly with my bullet points, all right? Generational curses do not exist, people. Now, I know that this is going to hurt you, and if I cared enough to insert an edited voice or a sound, it would be womp, womp, womp. They do not exist, people. That is another lie that we have been sold, all right? And I'm not going to even say by the church. I just believe in general, specifically the African-American culture, we heavily believe in curses. Like, we just do. We accept them. And it's almost like it's a badge of honor, and people get excited to be cursed. I have never in my life heard of anybody else or any other group believing in this the way that church people do. It's like demonic forces, powers, spirits, witchcraft, generational curses, all of this stuff excites believers for some sick reason, but she ain't having it. I'm not. I don't tap into generational curses. So let's talk about what I do believe exists. I do believe that generational mindsets exist. I do believe that generational beliefs exist. And I do believe generations of repeat behavior exists. You have to understand that I'm coming from the perspective of someone who studies psychology. I do not believe that generational curses is what's keeping some of you, I'm not going to say us because I've detached myself from this belief, that some of you believe so wholeheartedly. This is not what's creating certain things in your life. This is not what's guiding you. This is not what's keeping you from getting what you want, from having what you need, from doing what you desire. It is not generational curses. It's beliefs and mindsets. And you have to do the work to break away from those beliefs and those mindsets. If you continue to do the same thing, expecting different results, that is, oh, wait a minute, we got, okay, little Einstein Harafe. We have insanity, people. That is literally the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. If your grandmother did the same thing, but it was never explained why it was done to you, you just started doing it too. That's not a generational curse, people. That's just a belief system that you've continued throughout your life. There was a pastor that used the illustration and used this and said, there was a woman who used to cut the ham, the butt end of a ham off and put it into a pan to bake it. And it just kept happening. year after year after year, generation after generation after generation. And every time one of the daughters would ask the mom, why do you do that? My grandma did it. Why do you do that? My mama did it. Why do you do that? Her grandma did it. Okay. So literally there was no reason to be cutting off and discarding an entire piece of meat. All right. Shout out to my vegans. To be discarding an entire piece of meat. They were just doing it because the pan wasn't big enough. Like it finally came out why it was happening because the pan wasn't big enough. So it wasn't a real reason other than they just didn't have enough room to hold the rest of the ham, people. And everybody from generation to generation kept doing it. They didn't even understand why they were doing it. And so when you think about poverty, oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, this is why I got the bullet points. Let me roll it back and let me get into it, okay? All right, so who cursed you? You have to ask yourself this question. Who cursed me? Who cursed my family? Why exactly am I holding on to this belief or this curse and allowing it to ruin my life pretty much? Because I don't know of any curses that are good, you know, talked about or mentioned that are good. So who cursed me? Where does the belief come from that we are cursed? And why would I be cursed for something that I didn't do, that happened before I was even born? Now I have to live under this curse, right? This is something that I believe comes from the Bible when we talk about curses, Adam and Eve, what they did, Sodom and Gomorrah, the curse that they had on them. Even you have the Pharisees, the Israelites, the Jews, all of these groups and all of these belief systems. This dates back to the biblical days in the times when curses were something that they were just living under. You lived under a curse. You had to give your way out of it. You had to sacrifice your way out of it. All of these are mindsets that have been adapted, and we start believing that when bad things happen to a certain group of people for a very long time and they're oppressed or they just can't get from underneath certain rulers or leadership or, you know, bad omens or long periods of misfortune, they're cursed. They're a cursed people. And what you have to understand is there are some people who really do have misfortune. And it's not because of a curse. It is solely because of a mindset and a lack of action being taken to get away from certain things repeatedly happening. And the more that we blame things on a curse, it takes away accountability. And when you don't have accountability, you leave yourself open to repeating the same things over and over again. And then your children seeing that and them believing that that is the norm and them doing it. And I don't want to get to my punchline too soon, but I have to say it now because it matters. The only thing that shifts generational misfortune is one person doing something different. That's all it takes. That's the secret. That's the secret. One person doing something different is what it takes to remove, release, stop, and all of the bad things or the misfortunes or the, I don't know, the curse, if you will, that a lot of people have been enduring and going through and having happen in their lives and their families. One person doing something different. You see that with people who go to school and they're first generation degree holders. I'm a first generation college graduate, right? Those are what some people would call generational curses, but it's not a curse. It's just one person said, I don't want to have a child before marriage. I don't want to be on government assistance. I don't want to live in an underserved environment. I don't want to work a dead-end job. I don't want to be married to someone who mistreats me, a womanizer, a liar, an abuser. I do not want to be another statistic. I do not want to have X, Y, and Z health problems. So I'm going to eat better, do better, be more intentional. Those things are mindset shifts, belief changes, and actions that match, right? So you can't always blame everything on a curse when you're not doing the work to remove the misfortune. All right. If it were true, if generational curses did exist, and if it were true, wouldn't knowledge of a curse give you power to reverse it? Wouldn't it? Or do you just have to live under this curse forever, right? Even people who do believe in generational curses, they even say that there's a way to undo it, whether it's walking backwards under something, right? Not putting shoes in a certain place. There's always an undoing to whatever you believe has been done. And I'm going to leave that right there. Rewind that if you need to hear it again. All right. Now, I'm going to explain this. Well, no. You can explain to me then. I'll preface it this way. I would like anyone to explain to me how non-believers have had families to come out of generations of poverty, depression, misfortune, etc., who did come from underrepresented or bad lineages in other generations of abuse or misfortune, mistreatment, or isolation, or being removed from their roots and their foundational principles. How do those generations of people rise up? The Jews. Let's just call it what it is, right? How do they come out of what they came from? And we know what happened to their people and how they're now at the top. When it comes to media, when it comes to money, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to access, resources, they are running so much of what we take in as people. Generational curses are not what we think they are. They are what I just explained them to be. If you think about your mindset, your beliefs, your actions, those things have to align. If your mind is messed up, your beliefs are going to follow. If your beliefs are jacked up, then what you do is going to be in line with what you believe to be true. And when you move different and you do different, you get something different. Your results will always have to be whatever you believe that they should be. All right, next up. Like I said earlier, the way to undo what you believe has been done on your family is to do something different. That is something that you have the power to change. That's something you have the power to shift. That's something that you can be aware of today and make a conscious effort to say, I don't want this for my family. You've all seen the meme, or if you haven't, then I'll go ahead and tell you what some of the popular ones say. If you had come from a family of poor health or poverty, you can decide that it ends with me, right? It doesn't have to keep going. It can end with you. I personally came from a single parent household, and I like to give examples, real life, that I can speak to myself. I come from a single parent household. My mom raised me and my siblings by herself. Her and my father got divorced when I was 2 years old. And my father was around. He lived in the same city and state that we did growing up, but he did not live in our home. And one thing I can say my mom did not do was have a lot of people, a lot of men, any man, period, around us. My mom has never dated after my husband, Jesus, my father, because I'm going to talk about my husband next. That's why I keep saying it, I guess. My mother has never dated after her husband, my father. She's never introduced us to anyone. She's never done anything of the sort around us. So I didn't know what it was to be raised in a two-parent household. My grandmother, the same kind of. She did marry one of her children's fathers, but for the most part, she was a single woman who just had multiple fathers for her children. Her mother, the same way. So if we want to go off generational curses route, then we would just say, well, you guys are cursed to not keep a man. You guys are cursed to have multiple children, but not be able to lock in the baby's father, right? That's something that you can't call a curse. It is just repeated behavior. It's a learned behavior where no one really knows what it takes to be in a stable environment, a familial environment. And that's just a mindset and a belief system that continues to serve them because they didn't see it, they didn't have it. So that's not something they really know how to solidify and to bring into existence for themselves. No matter how bad my mother wanted to have a whole family unit for our household, that's not something that she was able to secure and to produce. Now, it doesn't make her the blame for it, but it does say that, hey, something there was a block there. There was a limiting belief about what you could have and did deserve. And so you didn't have that in your life. And so now for me, as a wife of 13 years and a mother to 2 young children, my husband and I are very intentional about our beliefs. We believe that we can have a whole, happy, loving family and, you know, an environment that is conducive to a thriving relationship, one that is whole and healthy, one that is happy, and there's nothing but loyalty in it. And we honor one another in our covenant and our commitment to be married. We believe that. We don't believe that what we saw was the norm. And so we're breaking that. We are For me, in my family, we're first generation of a 2-parent household. My sister doesn't have children. Neither one of my sisters have children. So they've been married, but they don't have a 2-parent household because they're not parents, right? My brother, he's been married, but he doesn't have he's not in a 2-parent household, even with his children and whatever his situation is. So my point is that I would be considered the one breaking a generational curse of sorts. No, I just decided I wanted something different. That's it. There was no curse on my family. I just decided that as for me and my house, we will be happily married. That's my standard. That was my heart's desire. And you can change your heart's desire. You can change your family's trajectory based off of your decisions, your beliefs, and your actions. It's all about choices, people. And if we choose to give power to curses, that's what we're going to get results of. We're not going to have happiness. We're not going to know wealth and abundance. We're not going to know success. We're not going to know growth. We're not going to know great health if we continue to say, oh, my family got a long line of people with high blood pressure. Okay, and I don't have it. I'm not going to be on insulin. I'm not going to be out here, with diabetes. I don't have time for this with dialysis. You don't have to accept those things as your truth. That could be what other people experienced in their life. But you don't have to say that's what's going to follow you in the next generation. So just be mindful of that. It is okay to become a first-generation homeowner. It's okay to become a first-generation scholar. It's okay to become the first-generation 2-parent household. All of these things are okay. It's okay to become a first-generation entrepreneur. I myself hold that title in my family, especially of the level of success that my husband and I have attained. That's a first generation. I've known hustlers in my family, but I haven't known secure entrepreneurs who've been able to generate wealth, build a legacy, actually help other people come out of poverty from entrepreneurship. But I have been able to do that as a first generational entrepreneur. Even though I didn't see it, everybody I know has worked jobs their whole lives, but not me. That wasn't what I wanted. So that wasn't a generational curse that people had a job. It was a choice. And now I get to choose something different. So that's what I would like to leave with you and encourage you with. Instead of accepting a curse, accept the choice to choose something better, to choose something greater, to have something worthwhile sharing and passing along. If anything, choose generational wealth. Choose a generation of legacy. Choose a generation of peace. Choose a generation of harmony. Choose a generation of love and happiness. Those are your choices when it comes to generational curses. Curse yourself with the best, with the good, with the great, with the happy, with the abundance, and with the choice of something better. All right? Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know that I didn't give you scriptural text on backing these things up, but I really want you to do the work of just using logic and allowing your God, right, your creator, to flow on the inside of you with your spirit and to say, I don't have to go through what anyone else went through in order to say that I've been blessed. You can be blessed from the beginning, right here, from here. All right, speak it and live it. All right. Okay, you guys, now go ahead, subscribe to the channel. More great videos are coming up, and can't wait to share more of my 2 cents. Bye.